The number one thing that I see every day that's stopping golfers from getting better is a fundamental misunderstanding of how to read their ball flight and run it back to impact. You can work on all the mechanics that you see on the internet or that you find in a golf tip or get in a golf lesson. If you don't understand why the ball went right, why the ball went left, how it curved, and what you did to cause it at impact, none of that stuff, none of that other stuff's really going to help you. So what we're going to talk about today is how to look at your ball flight, diagnose what happened, and run it back to just a couple of things that you did at impact to cause it. Starting to understand the impact conditions that you create and how they create ball flight is a huge puzzle piece in unlocking what you need to do for yourself to get better at golf. Ball flight isn't feedback about your swing, it's feedback about how you presented the club at impact. I play with a lot of amateurs every year, and I see them constantly hitting bad shots and immediately assuming over the top some kind of swing path issue, and they're trying to reorganize mechanics when they've skipped a super fundamental step, which is understanding where the club face was at impact. The first law that we're going to talk about today is the club face. To steal a line from Sean Foley, the club face is the CEO of ball flight. The club face is the barrel of the gun. The ball is going to take off where the club face was pointed at impact.
So what we're looking at is a few shots that I've hit with club face angle and launch direction on the screen. Launch direction is the direction right or left in degrees that the ball took off. So that was a square club face and the ball took off essentially at the target. I'm going to hit one here with an open club face, a club face out to the right, and you can see the launch direction essentially mirrors the club face angle. The club face was 5.5 degrees open. The ball took off 5.5 degrees to the right. When I hit one to the left, that ball took off 6 degrees to the left, and the club face was closed to the target roughly 6 degrees. Essentially, the thing to understand here is that the ball takes off where the club face is pointed at impact.
So now that we understand that the ball is going to take off where the club face is pointed, it's time to talk about swing path. This is what most golfers are talking about when they say, I come over the top or I drop the club underneath. What's really going on is the direction the club was moving relative to where the face was. We call that face to path, is going to dictate how much the golf ball is going to curve. If the path is left of the face, if the face to path relationship is positive, the ball is going to curve to the right. If the face to is left of the path, if the face to path relationship is negative, the ball is going to curve to the left.
So what we've got on the screen now is a club face angle and a club path, which create a face to path relationship. So the first shot that I've hit here, I'm going to present the club face 1.8 degrees open and the path 5.6 degrees to the right, which effectively makes the club face 3.8 degrees closed of the path, or I will get 3.8 degrees of leftward curve on a ball that started 1.8 degrees to the right. I know that's a lot. That's an important thing to understand. I'm now going to hit a ball that starts left, curves right. So I've got the club face 3.6 degrees left of the target and the path 7.6 degrees left of the target, which makes the face 4 degrees open of the path. And I get a big slice. So now when I get real crazy with the slinging draw, we'll see the face 5 degrees right and the path 10 degrees right. So essentially I get a 5-degree closed face to path relationship. Really important to understand how the face and the path work together to create curve. You can see a way over the top swing with a wide open club face. I'm going to get a super left path, a face that's wide open of it, and a big slice.
So now that we understand the club face's role in ball flight and the club path's role in ball flight and how their relationship creates curve, we have to talk about impact location, where you hit the ball on the club face. I teach my juniors, my high school aged kids, that club face is the president of ball flight, the path is Congress, and impact location is the Supreme Court. No matter what the president and Congress agree on, the Supreme Court can overrule it. All of the relationships that we've talked about up until now assume reasonably centered contact on the club face. Everybody knows hitting it off the hosel is bad news. Hitting the ball way off the toe is equally bad news. And the simplest thing to understand is the further I strike the ball away from the center of the face, the more the club face is going to twist in that direction. I'm going to lose energy into the ball. I'm going to lose ball speed, and the ball is going to take off more crooked than it should. So essentially, when I miss the center of the face, I get shorter, more crooked golf shots. The further I hit the ball away from the center of the face, the more ball speed I'm going to lose, and the more carry distance I'm going to lose.
I'm going to hit 2 shots here. I'm going to try and deliver really similar club speeds, and I'm going to hit them on different parts of the face. The first one, you can see my 6-iron's going 85 miles an hour. The ball's right on the center of the face. So I get 123 miles an hour of ball speed and a 184-yard carry. Second one, I'm going to hit way off the toe, and we'll see roughly similar club speed. Club's going about 85 miles an hour. I lost 15 miles an hour of ball speed for hitting it way off the toe, and it only carried 150 yards.
The best place to start in managing impact location is just starting to understand where you're hitting it on the club face and what that feels like. Up to even college players, I've had them all spend, players that I've coached, I've had them all spend time at least once a week either trying to manage where they hit it on the club face or understand where they're hitting it on the club face. And the best way to do it is with a $7 can of Gold Bond foot powder spray. Spray it right on the face, and it's going to leave marks where you hit it on the face. Start to hit some shots and at least gain some awareness of where you're hitting it on the face and what that feels like.
I'm going to hit a couple of shots here. The first one slightly towards the heel. And the second shot I'm going to hit is going to be slightly towards the toe. You can see where TrackMan picked him up. And right on the money, the Gold Bond spray got him too.
Now that we understand why the ball does what it does, let's talk about a couple of very common miss patterns that I see every day. And we essentially have 9 different miss patterns as a function of 3 different club faces mixed and matched with 3 different club paths. We can present the club face open at impact, square at impact, close at impact. We can present the club into out, down the line, or out to in. Right path, neutral path, left path, right face, neutral face, left face. The most common miss pattern that I see every day is some sort of pull slice, meaning a club face presented left of the target with an even lefter club path. So a face open to a very leftward club path. So we can essentially have a chicken or the egg conversation all day long about, is the club path the problem? Is the club face the problem? Which one should we address first? The fact is, one of them has to get addressed for anything to change. I tend to always address the club path first with players that I'm coaching. I know a lot of good coaches that start with the club face. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not how I prefer to do it. I think players will tend to sort the club face out for themselves, given the right tools and assuming you put them on a trajectory to improve their club path. However, you want to attack those things is a choice you have to make, but what you can't ignore is the relationship between club face and the path. The next most common miss pattern that I see, particularly from lower handicap players, 5, 6, 7, 8 handicaps, the mid single digits players, is push hook. These are the guys that have really worked on not being over the top, and they've just sort of lost the club face along the way, and they tend to throw it around to the left.
I'm going to hit 3 shots here, all with really rightward paths and the faces that generally accompany them in this miss pattern. So you can see I've got a shut face and a right path. The second shot, I leave the face open, so I get a big block out to the right. And the third one, I overclose it again. And this is the good player, quote unquote, pattern of flip hooks and blocks, playing Army golf all day long.
The thing that I see the most often with this particular pattern is players attributing the leftwardness to over the top. They want to get the club more and more and more inside or under the plane or in the slot or whatever verbiage they pick. But at this point, they're throwing water on a grease fire. They're so far inside that they're starting to hit it left, and they're trying to be more inside. And this is where reasonably good players really go off the deep end with their golf game by chasing the wrong thing. So ball flight doesn't tell you how to swing. It tells you what is the real problem that you're trying to solve for. You have to understand why the ball went where it went, or you're chasing ghosts in any improvement that you're trying to make. If you're taking a golf lesson or working on a drill, or you're on some path to improvement and you don't understand how what you're doing is going to affect one of these things, you're chasing your tail. You have to start by understanding ball flight and working backwards through impact if you want to get better in the long term. On this channel, we're going to go deep into how ball flight works, how to work it back through impact, and how to get better in a real tangible way in the long term. If you want to learn more about it, hit that subscribe button at the bottom and follow along.